Hi, everyone, and welcome to First Things First. We have made it to Friday. I'm Jenna Wolf. That's the Hall of Famer, Cris Carter. This is Nick Wright. Big show today. It's been a big show all week. In fact, spoiler alert, I'm always going to start the show by telling you that, but this one really is. Giannis and the Bucks locked up the best record in the NBA. LeBron's future with the Lakers now in turmoil, and apparently what happens in Green Bay doesn't always stay in Green Bay.
Great green dress.
Thank you.
And Nick's hair's better on Friday, too. He's got some
good stuff all around, apparently.
He's got something going up top.
Here we go. A recent report says the dysfunctional relationship between Aaron Rodgers and now former head coach Mike McCarthy held the Green Bay Packers franchise back from what could have been a Brady-Belichick level of success. In the report, stories of McCarthy's failure to update his offensive game plan, his lack of creative play calling, and his lack of accountability, including reports of missing team meetings to get massages. Now, Aaron Rodgers reportedly undercut McCarthy on the field and in public, and seemingly hasn't gotten over McCarthy passing him over in the 2005 NFL Draft when he was the Niners offensive coordinator. There was a lot in this article, Cris Carter. Some of it I'm sure you have heard stories of, but what was your reaction to the bulk of the report that came out about these two?
Well, first of all, we know that Aaron Rodgers, there's been a lot of things said about him and his personality as far as being sensitive, some of the other things that came out in the article. Now, as far as Mike McCarthy, we didn't hear as many things before this article came out. My own personal experience with Coach McCarthy is that in 2002, after the 2002 season, I was leaving Minnesota, and I was a potential free agent. So I was at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Jim Haslett was the head coach in New Orleans. Mike McCarthy was the offensive coordinator. Hubbard Alexander, who was my wide receiver coach for several years in Minnesota, was the wide receiver coach. And he was trying to entice me to playing 1 or 2 more years and playing with the Saints at that time. So what we did was we did a little, it's not legal, but during the Super Bowl, they opened up their facility. I happened to be in the neighborhood, end up meeting with the coaching staff, and I sat down with Mike McCarthy for a long time, watched film, and because I know in that situation, because Coach Haslett was the head coach there, him and I had gone because we had practiced against each other in the summer. So Haslett knew and was impressed with my football IQ, and they wanted to see if I wanted to come play there. I was very impressed with who he was as an offensive coordinator at that time.
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, and he was one of the hottest coordinators in pro football. And it made me think about, even though New Orleans didn't have the situation for me as far as the chance to win a Super Bowl, which I was looking for in that last year or two, I was very impressed with what he knew football-wise. And Aaron Rodgers has been tough on the coaches, but in Green Bay, it's hard because of their structure. They're owned by it's a community. The community owns it. So is there really a voice outside of the president of the team that can really come down? So for me, the dysfunction is led by the way it's owned. And it starts from the top with me, so I'm not going to blame Aaron Rodgers more than the organization. Now, the organization, we don't mention them in there, but they're at fault because they didn't empower Mike McCarthy that he could be able to force Aaron to be able to learn different things. So when you don't have that power behind you, you are a coach that ultimately the player's going to have more power than you. So I don't like the structure. So I'm not going to blame Aaron Rodgers more so than I'm ever going to blame the organization because they drafted Aaron Rodgers. And they cultivated this community where they allowed Aaron Rodgers to be able to continue his behavior and not really put any pressure on him to grow offensively.
This was a remarkable story. And credit to Tyler Dunn of Bleacher Report for getting people on the record or on background to talk honestly about a decade of dysfunction. I didn't know that. I knew Aaron Rodgers held grudges. I didn't know he held grudges back to in 2005 when McCarthy was the coordinator for the Niners. He said, yeah, I think Alex Smith's better than Aaron Rodgers. He's been mad since then. Nobody comes out of this story looking good. Ted Thompson catches some bullets. Mike McCarthy certainly doesn't look good, and Aaron Rodgers does not look good either. The reason that, to me, it is very easy, though, to point one bigger finger than others at the GM and the coach is because the GM and the coach are not one of one in the world at what they do. And if you are blessed enough in your organization to have someone who is in the argument for most talented or best in the world at what they do, you bend over backwards to make them happy. Our boss, Keta, has a lot of actual technical responsibilities, a lot of things on his daily list. You know what his #1 responsibility every single day is? Make sure Cris Carter's in a good place to succeed. Because even if that's not technically on his list of things, it all falls apart if Cris is not in a good place to succeed. I imagine Beyonce is a pain to go on tour with, is a pain to set things up. But when she gets out there, she performs. The stories about Christian Bale are legend, about on set, what a terror he can be. But he might be the best actor alive, so you deal with it.
Not that it makes any of that okay, though.
No, but it's reality. Would it be better if everyone was Tom Brady? I might be the best in the world, and I'm a great teammate, and you don't have to pay me that much, and I'll defer to the coach. Sure, but more often guys like that are more like LeBron. I'm going to be a little bit of a pain, and I'm going to be needy, and I'm going to be passive aggressive. But you get me 82 games a year. This year 55. But you get me, and so we're going to deal. Like that is you. The #1 job of the Packers were to make sure Aaron Rodgers was happy with the Packers. And they failed at that.
Well, I'm going to totally disagree with you. And the reason why is because you came up with things that, yeah, the people, they might be the best at their business, but they're individuals. They're incorporating themselves. Now, if you decide to travel with Beyonce because Beyonce is the show, but we got the NFL. This is a league. We got a team. You got a locker room. You don't have no locker room in those other instances. And as far as the NBA and LeBron, you only got 11 other guys. So that personality can dominate it. But an NFL locker room, if we're going to continue to function as a football team, we can't run our business like them. We can't coddle the quarterback just because he's good. What about the left guard? He might be the best all time, so what do? We run the ball now 60 times because the left guard is dominant? Like, we could go through player after player that, oh man, we got to create this system. No, it is a team. And everyone's got to be able to buy in the team to be able to get the best functionality out of the team. So, no, I totally disagree with you. And he's not Beyonce, all right? Like, we've had other Aaron Rodgers before. And the thing about Beyonce, if she makes a hit is it's not a Super Bowl trophy. Like if you win, I mean, whatever, if you had a gold album, sure. It's totally not the same. You can't make those comparisons because you have other personalities that the coach on every team is saying, you know something? We're going to treat guys alike. We're going to try to treat you like grown men. Well, you've been like, well, you're not treating him like no grown man. You're babysitting me, but you allow him to do whatever you want.
Right.
It will never, ever work. And that would be one of the problems why they only made one Super Bowl and why they didn't have a lot of success. That's why you see the peaks and valleys in what they did there in Green Bay.
There's a little chicken and egg when it comes to who's to blame here. Is it more the lack of creative play calling or the lack of sort of executing that lack of creative play calling?
Listen, as far as the play calling too, I can only call what people know. So if you restrict me, which Aaron Rodgers did, he said, I don't want bunch formations. That means I don't want the wide receivers clustered in close to the quarterback because I can't see the blitzes if they're coming. So Aaron's admitting I can't see the blitzes unless they're way out wide. That hurts you as a quarterback because when the wide receivers are out wide, there's only so many combinations of routes and teams can book you and you become far more predictable. Not to cut you off, but that's very important.
And we're going to dive into much more of this, but just as a step back, one of the things that was mentioned in this article that is if the two gotten along a little bit better, had less of a dysfunctional relationship, they could have had the success the Patriots had. Do you see, like, was their path trending that way?
No, this is where the Ted Thompson part comes in. They haven't, the year they went 15-1, they had the 32nd ranked defense in football. That's remarkable. I saw that last night, couldn't believe it, double-checked it. They have never built the team the right way. They have the 1 year they've had a great defense, they won the Super Bowl. Since then, defense have been ranked 32nd, 11, 25, 15, 15, 22, 22, 18. In playoff losses for Aaron Rodgers, the defense has allowed 51, 37, 45, 44. Like they had a double-digit lead in Seattle with 5 minutes left. The team blows it multiple times. Like his frustration to me is warranted. Now maybe he doesn't deal with it the right way, but they were never going to be the
defense has allowed 51, 37, 45, 40,
a full team.
They never had Tom Brady either.
They had a